Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to be with you and happy that you could join us on this, beginning of the weekend, Friday. I hope you're all ready for a wonderful weekend. If you are tuning in and you're anywhere near upstate New York, near Buffalo, bundle up, stay safe because you're in for a really big snowstorm. Can't believe it. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I'm the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And yes, we are coming to you so very live from here, deep within the heart of the Thunderdome in glorious Midtown Manhattan. And on behalf of our entire company, our artists, our staff, I would like to cordially welcome you all to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' first ever hybrid Playmakers Intensive, or HPI 1. Dramatis ubiquitous. This has really been an incredible week. Very similar to what we've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic, when we started doing our Playmaker series online. We used to do our Playmakers. We've been doing our Playmakers Intensive. We started it in 2011, and we do it every year up until 2020, when the pandemic hit. And we thought we'd try doing it online. We thought it would be a good lifeboat to continue staying in touch with our artists and with our audiences. And it not only was a wonderful, it turned out to be more than a lifeboat. Not only was it a wonderful experience, but it was very fruitful. We had an opportunity to work with so many artists from all over the world, wherever they happen to be. And we have been able to do that even up to this very intensive. This intensive, of course, is a little bit different because it's our first hybrid. Now, what does that mean? Well, what we want to do is we want to take what we used to do live, like performing these original short plays before a live audience, and we want to smush that together with what we've been doing, which is doing them live online to an internet audience, you guys. So that's the hybrid. So all week we've been presenting original plays online. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, the big night, right? We are actually going to be we're going to be doing 5 plays. The show you see tonight, the show you saw last night, and the show you saw Wednesday night, and 2 other plays that you didn't see this week that you're only going to see them live and in person. And we're going to be presenting them in front of a live audience. And that's going to happen tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. I tell that to you because we're also going to be streaming that live. So we'll be opening it up to a huge audience. And if you are watching from your computer, you will see what it's like to see how these plays are performed in front of an actual audience. And you will also be part of that audience. If you are in town, go to our website, tbtb.org, and you can find out how to get tickets for free. Free theater. So I'm really excited about that. We have a wonderful show tonight. Of course, it's Friday. It's the beginning of the weekend. Why would we not have a beautiful show tonight? This play was written by, this is, I think, the second or third time we've worked with David Adam Gill. And I think he's just incredible, really talented, wonderful, and wrote a really, I think, a beautiful piece. And the play is called Putting to Rest. It was directed to perfection by the great Ed Setrakian, and it stars 2 incredible artists, Veronica Cruz, Melissa Jennifer Gonzalez. I don't want to say anymore. I want to just jump right into this. But before we start, I'm going to ask our artists to please provide a brief audio description of what they look like for the benefit of anyone who's joining us who can't see us. This way you'll get a chance to hear their voices, and you'll get an idea as to who's playing who. So my dear artists, would you please sign in?
Hi, I'm Veronica Cruz. I'm playing Esther. I have shoulder length, dark brown hair, and I'm wearing all black.
Hi, my name is Melissa Jennifer Gonzalez. I am a non-binary Latinx individual who also has short, dark hair up to the shoulder, and I'm also wearing black, and I have a little peephole on my chest from my black shirt, which has some embroidery to it.
Hmm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this really wonderful production, David Adam Gill's Putting to Rest.
The empty back room of Delgado's funeral home. The muted murmur of people and light organ music can be heard coming from an adjacent room. Esther enters. She's upset and tries to calm herself by taking deep breaths. She counts to 10. She shakes off the stress. Another deep breath. It's not working. After a moment, Esther's sister Flory enters tentatively. She stares at Esther's back and waits. She steps closer to her sister.
A nice turnout now. She looks nice. I think almost too nice, you know. Like maybe we should have messed up her hair or something. She never went to a beauty parlor or anything. I mean, or even cared about her appearance that much in life. So why should she want to look presentable now in the afterlife?
Esther turns to look at Flory.
Right? I mean, who's she getting gussied up for? She didn't believe in God. She hated Daddy. Or does that bleed away the hate from life?
Is that what you're counting on?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not doing this.
Esther moves to go, then turns back to Flory.
Why are you here?
to say goodbye to my mother, who I loved and will miss very much.
Liar. What do you want?
Nothing.
I don't believe you. You want something.
S?
Money? You know very well there's nothing left.
Listen,
No,
all I want.
I don't get it. I really don't. I would laugh if I didn't want to cry.
What have I done?
If you don't know.
To you? I've been absent.
Absent? Absent is fucking missing a class, missing a holiday. What you've been, Sister Flory, is missing in action. MIA for what is it, 5 years?
4.5. I've been going through
I don't
a
care.
lot of.
I don't.
You're being unfair.
I don't think so.
You're too quick to judge. Yeah, you know what? Fine. Be angry. I don't care. I don't give a shit. But listen to me. I loved our mother just as much as you, and I will miss her just as much. And whatever you think I did doesn't matter anymore because I'm different. I've changed.
People don't change. They cover up. They paint on a facade, hope people forget, then lie in wait.
Then I feel sad for you, S, if that's the way you feel.
Don't feel sad for me. I don't need your pity. What I could have used instead was your help. Painted over or not, me and Mommy, we could have used your help, but instead you stayed away.
I had my reasons.
I don't want to.
You don't care.
Flory turns to leave.
Going to get a drink?
Flory stops.
When did you become this person?
Shortly after you became that one.
So it's my fault? Wow.
Don't do that. Don't turn things around. I am not the villain here.
I am?
If the shoe fits.
That woman used us as weapons against one another our entire lives.
That woman lived for you. Whatever you wanted, whatever you needed, she moved the earth to get it for you.
And you've always been resentful of that? Of me?
Not you, no.
Then what?
Flory, she didn't hear from you for 5 years.
4.5. I mean,
It doesn't matter. It might as well have been 20. She asked for you every day. Even when her mind was going, she was always asked for you. And that was
I
cruel.
told you I was going through a lot. And I don't care. I mean, I know you don't care or whatever, but it was better that I disappeared.
For who? For mommy?
Mostly for you.
For me? Yeah, well, that was very convenient for you, wasn't it?
It wasn't.
People will be wondering where I've gotten to.
Esther turns to leave, but doesn't.
Esther, please.
I heard you got married.
I did, for a hot second.
And I have a niece.
Livia, she's with her father.
Okay. See you later.
Don't you even want to know why?
Well, let's see. I'm guessing you fell off the wagon. You dropped her on her head. Lost custody due to negligence or incompetency or some other shit.
Close. I tried to kill myself.
What do you mean?
I went to bed with a lot of pills and a bottle of vodka and hope I wouldn't wake up
Like Daddy.
like Daddy.
I didn't know.
That's why I stayed away. It wasn't to punish you. It wasn't to punish Mommy, even though she deserved to be punished. It was to punish me.
Punish you?
I kept away from the person I love the most, but I knew I would hurt the most by returning. You remember that doll, Betsy Blue?
Mommy's doll from when she was a little girl? What made you think you were terrified of that doll?
That perpetually evil smile, who wouldn't be?
It was just a stupid doll.
Not to me! Mommy used to terrorize me with that doll. Drag her out whenever she wanted to get me to behave or do something I didn't want to do. I would cry and cry.
Yes, I remember. It was mean.
I know I was a difficult child and she had her hands full with me, but
that's no reason to treat a child that way.
No. I used to have nightmares. Betsy Blue would be chasing after me like the Frankenstein monster, with that evil smile. I'd wake up screaming and sobbing, and you would slip into my bed with me and stroke my hair till I fell asleep again.
I don't remember that.
You did. And one day, Betsy disappeared, vanished. Mommy was furious. She tore the house apart. She was convinced I'd hit her or had thrown her out or something. I know it was you who hit Betsy. You did it to stop Mommy.
She creeped me out too.
You always looked out for me. I've never forgotten that.
Why'd you do it, Flor?
I saw myself repeating that pattern. The behavior, the anger, the lashing out, the passive aggression. I didn't want Livia to go through what we had to go through with Mommy. I didn't want to be that person. I couldn't.
So you chose Daddy's way out.
I know.
Remember how that affected us?
I know.
And what about Livia?
That's why I called the ambulance.
You did.
I was lying there, trying to make myself go blank, trying to let the pain fall away. But all I could see in my mind's eye was Mommy. The day of Daddy's funeral, that look on her face, that unkempt hair, the immense sadness, something. I stopped. I called 911.
I remember that day. Mommy's face. I think that's the reason I've stayed. I think after Daddy killed himself, she tried to do the best she could.
Her best was not very good.
She never hit us, hardly.
No, bruised our spirits is what she did. Harder to see, but much more painful, lasting. We've grown to be strangers. I blamed her.
I miss her so much. Isn't that stupid? It's only been a few days and I can't breathe. I can't. She's been a pain in my ass for the last 5 years. 4.5. I've spent every waking moment of every day thinking about her, making sure she was comfortable, fed, cleaned. Though she fought me tooth and nail.
I know.
Always the contrarian. I should be relieved, right? I should be planning a fucking trip or something.
I'm ashamed to say I was. And relieved. It feels like I've been set free.
Why did you come back then?
I realized I lost something.
What?
My hub.
We both lost our hub. As out of alignment it might have been. She was the sun to our solar system for so long.
No, I don't mean Mommy. I mean you.
Me?
You were always the hub. The thing that kept us together.
Flory.
If we can't grow up, if we can't change, then why even bother? How will it ever get better if we can't accept and be forgiven?
It'll take time. I need some time.
Okay, but I miss my sister.
And I miss mine. So we'll try, okay?
Okay.
Do you think she'll find peace?
Mommy?
Yes. Do you think the pain, the bad things in life, do we bring them with us when we die, or do they all melt away?
I hope so.
Me too.
Esther takes Flory by the hand as the lights dim to black. The end.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Come on, everyone, please. Let's talk about this beautiful piece. Yeah. Wow. Really, so beautiful, so well done. I love not only the play and this idea of reconciliation during during a sad time, but but I really would like to talk about how this all came to being. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because there seems to be a recurring theme during this intensive that I know that none of the other groups talked about it, but it's funny how that happens a lot of times. Really beautiful work from all of you. David, tell me what inspired you to write this? You're
Sorry about that.
okay.
As I told my team when we first met, I was going to write a comedy. I like writing funny things. And then I started writing this, and the characters wouldn't go there. The characters had wanted to deal with something else, something a little bit more profound. I just lost my mother over this past summer, and I've been thinking a lot about, and I have a brother who's estranged. I have a very big family, and I just thought, what would the conversation be? And that was plugged into my head as I was writing this. And I'd asked both Veronica and Melissa to give me a list of things about them. So, because I'd never met them before, and I thought I'd try and bring some of those things together within the play. And the things that I chose kind of hijacked what I was doing. And so that's how I ended up with this.
I love that. I love that story because it's just so fascinating as a writer. I always think about, does the writer write the piece, or does the piece choose? Like, does the writer choose the piece, or does the piece choose the writer? Sometimes and the fact that you had an intention to write it one way, and it sort of ended up going in that other direction. I find that so fascinating. Did that ever happen to you before?
Yeah, I mean, I write quite a bit, and I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned is to allow your characters to express themselves and not to fight them. And sometimes it leads you into a good place, and sometimes what it does is lead you into a better understanding about your characters, so that you can take that and then utilize it in whatever you want to do and whatever you want to write. So yes, absolutely. And again, the lesson is to listen to them and let them go where they want to go, and then decide if that's good with you or not, if that's a story you want to tell.
I just find that very such an important and very telling fact, because to see how, first of all, I think in writing this, the one thing I've learned during this entire process of gathering a group of people together, randomly pairing them together. This is the first time you're working with Veronica and with Melissa and with Ed, right? So you don't really know these people, and so the few times you have a chance to meet and talk, a lot of if that works out, if those conversations have some sort of an impact on you, then the play becomes very personal. You see all these little personal strands that have been woven into it. And I love the fact that this play, the reconciliation and sort of an understanding, which I think is really very, very beautiful. I find it fascinating because there were several instances this week that dealt with sort of coping with loss and reconciling that loss. That to me is very interesting and very, very telling, and also very indicative of, I think, where we are in our world right now. So even if that wasn't an intended thing, it is very telling. It tells us where we are. So thank you. That it just shows how in tune you are as a writer. Ed, you're a wonderful director, and you have such a great experience as a director. And full disclosure, you're also married to an incredible writer, an incredible playwright. Tell me how this experience materialized for you. What was this like?
Normally, when I direct a play, I cast it.
Yes.
I couldn't have done a better job. Remarkable. These ladies are good actors, and they were very responsive to my direction. For example, when we staged it, had a great time staging it. I enjoyed doing it. They were very responsive.
Yeah.
And they did it. And they brought so much to it. So I'm very happy with the whole situation, I mean, Florrie was raising her finger. I don't know what
I think she's going to take care of something.
Oh, yeah.
She had to drop off screen. She will be back though.
Yeah. So, under the circumstances, I'm very happy with it.
Oh, this is so good to hear. And, again, because the purpose of this intensive, the purpose of this exercise, I guess, is everything is randomly paired. And I will have to agree with you. I could not have cast this play better if I had intended and said, okay, I think we're going to pair Veronica and we're going to pair Melissa together. Like that was just a random thing. And everything was random throughout the whole week. The casting of all of these pieces, it was all excellent casting. Now, understanding the plays were also written for the artists that are performing them. So it shows a great collaboration and a great communion. So that to me was a gift. We always take a risk when we do this because we don't know what the chemistry is going to be like. And it only takes sort of one person or one incident to throw everything off kilter. And it just makes me feel so wonderful that we got through this week. And I think the two shows that we're going to be doing live tomorrow as well, where everybody just got along and the work just flourished as a result of it. So I think I agree with you. And I can't wait to see how you've staged this. And just as a little side note, anyone who tunes in tomorrow night, even if you can't be in the room, you will be in the room because you will be able to see that live. So you will get to see it staged as well. So we hope you'll tune in. Had to do a little plug there. Sorry, guys. All right. I'm going to start with you, Melissa, on this one because you have been doing our intensives now for many years, and you've done a lot of our in-person intensives as well as our virtual intensives.
More virtual than in person because I've yet to get to that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that you've never done one of our live intensives before?
Only a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be my first in ages.
Right. Well, it's our first in ages. I mean, the last intensive we did was back in 2019. So
yeah, but didn't you do that? Didn't you do that other one in May?
Yes, but that's a little different. That's the second level. That's what we call our Playmakers Redux, where we take some shows that were developed during the intensives and we try to move them a little further along.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I love the Redux, because there are so many great shows that come out of these workshops, and the goal is to be able to develop them into either a finished full-length, a finished short play, or maybe something that becomes bigger. And that's certainly the hope is to just nurture it along. But yeah, it's really exciting. Tell me about this experience. I mean, I will be honest with you. Ed is absolutely correct. You guys are wonderful, and I could absolutely buy you as sisters. You developed this great relationship. The chemistry there worked so beautifully.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. And we also kind of look alike because
Yeah.
we both have similar hair. So I guess it wasn't just random. Maybe it was fate. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know, I leave all of that up to just whatever it is, it's working for us. So I'm gonna just stick with it. And it really is literally name out of a hat, name out of a hat. There's your
Mhm.
there's your pairing, guys. It just worked out that way. So I'm
Glad
just
it did.
really, really grateful. Yeah. How did you, I mean, how did you feel about this? Like, tell me what your first impression when you read this piece. Did you have anything that stood out to you?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. So, well, there are a few things that stood out, but one was that in my own personal life, I was born the only child and I never had any siblings.
Mhm.
Um, but I managed to picture it more as finding a certain connection to the material, even though there are some situations for which I have not experienced, and one of those things is having a significant other, and
Mhm.
the other was to have a child. Um, I mean, the sister relationship was one of them, but I try to pinpoint some things in my own personal life that I could connect, even though they're not true to my own personal life. So I try to find those connections and somehow give it give it a bit of authenticity to the best of my abilities.
Mhm.
I guess that's how I could sum it up, really.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, it's beautiful. I just thought the work was wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Veronica. Veronica. It's so great. I don't remember. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you do anything like this serious before. I know you've had some serious pieces before, but maybe I just can't remember because I don't know. But I thought you were just so amazing with this. Tell me, what was your impression when you first read this piece? What were your thoughts?
What were my thoughts? Well, I definitely understood. I don't have a sister.
Uh-huh.
I have a friend that's kind of like a sister. So, but it's not the same thing. But I do have a family life that has a lot of strife in it. So I understand how that can affect a
Mhm.
relationship with a sibling. I did have a brother. So, and how it can really change the course of um, your relationship over time,
Mhm.
despite not wanting that to happen. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just the circumstances. So I totally understand that. I related to that. I related to the doll thing. Thank you.
The doll thing was wonderful.
The
Really.
doll thing was one of my things on the list.
Oh, was it really?
I'm afraid of dolls.
Are you? Yeah. All right, there
Oh,
you
I said it on the internet. Now everyone will know.
No, it's okay. I'll just be a lot more understanding of that.
Yeah.
There was a commercial on like last year, during a couple of years ago, where these people were staying at I guess it was a relative's house, and they were in the guest room, and she had a collection of dolls. Do you remember that? And it was just dolls all over the place, and the wife was like, "Oh, so many eyes." They're all looking at you. Really, I understand it. It's very
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, I get it. I mean, my wife Anne Marie has like clowns. Forget it. Clowns are like freak her out.
Oh, clowns. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. The other thing I love in this, and I think that there's a great layer here, which is really there's a family dynamic and how the mother's relationship with each of you is different.
Yeah. Well, that happens, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, and it's also like about taking care of someone who was
Yeah.
not a good mother. And you're you're making that choice, and one person chooses something else, and I choose my choice, and why,
Mhm.
and why, and yeah. So all of that is very interesting and stuff I know about. I'm on my own right now with my mother, so I totally understand a lot of these issues. So I kind of find it difficult to work on because it's the characters' views and my views are getting all confused. Does that make sense? Like it can be so personal that it makes it actually a little more harder to work on in a way, and not in a bad way, but just you want to keep yourself out of the way sometimes to really see the characters. And I learned a lot from our one in-person rehearsal.
Yeah.
When we could be in person, I really started to see what was going on with Esther a little bit more than I did just from Zoom, because Zoom is like dolls to me. You're all a bunch of dolls.
Is that really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I didn't know that freaked you out so much.
Yeah, I always was worried I couldn't connect with people on Zoom, and I struggled with it. I'm so glad I've been doing these intensives because it's really helped me work on Zoom more and try to reach into the screen. To the dolls.
but reach
the talking
for the dolls. Reach for the dolls. No, I have to tell you, I think the work is beautiful. When I first read this play, there's some place when you read them, I always one of the parameters I'd always set up was when we do the virtual intensives on Zoom, I want the writers to write for this format, because if you're writing in a play like a stage format, it's just, to me, a bridge too far, because in a play you have to suspend your disbelief. But if you now have to suspend your disbelief even further, where you have to now think, okay, these two people are sharing an intimate moment together, and they're on stage together, but we still see two separate screens. It just doesn't work. Now, I like the idea. I said this several times, so forgive me, all of you who may have heard me repeat this over and over again. I'm all for exploring the producing on Zoom using the technology to manipulate the images and the this and the that. I feel that becomes more cinematic than actual theater, and I want, So when I first read this, I thought this play really it's gonna be better in person. I think the intimacy is good, but I wanted to see what it looked like on the screen, to see what came through, and quite a lot comes through. I have to be honest with you. Part of my experiment with this is to see how doing it on this is different and how it's the same. Are you still able to connect with the audience? Are we still able to suspend our disbelief? Are we still able to feel? And I think that there are ways that you'll feel more here and less there, and vice versa. There are ways you're going to feel so much more there than you will here. So I don't know. I find it really, really fascinating. But that all leads me to the next question, and it's about 10 after 8. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to just finish up with this. We'll try to answer quickly, because we can talk about it a bit more in the next segment. But and then I want to give you guys a little bit of a break before we go into our next show at 8:30 that I hope everybody will join us for. The big question, is it still theater if it's coming through a computer screen? And I'm going to start with you, David.
Is it still theater? Yes, I think it's still theater. I absolutely agree with you that there's a definite connection between these two actors and these two characters. And I think you can establish that. The reason why I wrote it as a physical piece, but also as a piece that had dialogue and intimacy, was that there are moments of quiet and of things landing on one another, and it shows on their faces. And I think that is a gift that we get from the Zoom type of theater that we don't necessarily will get when we're watching actors on stage, because there's so much more to see. and we don't necessarily focus. We'll hear their voices, we'll see their bodies move, but we won't necessarily look to their faces and be as focused on them as we are here. And that's why I think Ed did a wonderful job. These characters listen, things land, and then they respond. And I think that, again, yes, it is theater, but it's theater in a different sense. You're cutting out some of the white noise, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I want to just be clear. I say this every night. There is no right or wrong answer, because I completely understand if someone says to me, this is not theater. Theater has to be in an actual, like the audience has to be in the room, exchanging the energy in that regard. And I could understand that. But I was so surprised with this that I think that this is a very important medium, and I think it's very beneficial. And we can accomplish a great deal with it. What about you, Ed? I have to ask you, because I know you do, like you're a wonderful stage director, and directing in this on this platform is quite different.
It's a movie.
Mhm.
My overall direction to the actors would be relax more, let it happen. It's an intimate piece.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
It'll happen. You don't have to overdo it. That's all. Just relax, enjoy the moments, let it happen.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I
Because
think
its success is in its intimacy. I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
it's true. The reason I didn't want to start using the other platforms where I can manipulate the positioning on the screen is because I didn't want to control too much where the audience is looking at like as it would be if you went to see a play. I mean, I know that a director's job is to, create the focus on stage with the energy and how you're staging it. But an audience member is free to sort of, I can't tell you how many times I'll sit and watch a show and I'll be watching the actors, and then suddenly I'll just happen to notice something in the corner of the set that catches my attention, and I'm still listening, but now I'm looking over here. It's just, I have that freedom. And this gives you that opportunity. Like I don't have to, I can look at either Veronica or Melissa in focus, so that it gives you a little more. I didn't want it to be too. I didn't want the director to say, "I need you to look here."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. I think, and again, being a workshop, I really want the play to land, the words to land. So that to me is important. What about you, Melissa? Is this theater to you?
Do I think this is theater? Well, to me, theater has its ways of reinventing itself in various mediums. So despite the difficulties involving rehearsal and the sound delay going on, I guess I would say it is. I mean, it's a different feeling, but at least thanks to the pandemic, it kind of worked out. Maybe it's not the same as being on stage to rehearse with people in person, you know what I mean? But technology does play to it. And I mean, it still is. Depends on how you look at it. I personally much prefer to do it in person rather than in Zoom, because the physical interaction is not there between the actors. But I mean, I guess it's still theater in some ways. It did help, but yeah, I would say so.
I understand. I get it. I completely get it. I think I agree with you. And this would never, ever replace what we do on stage. I would never even suggest that should be the case. But I would also not chuck this after the pandemic and say, okay, that was nice, but now let's go back to what we did before, because that, it was a lifeboat. It got us through a rough time, and now we don't need it anymore. I'm not so willing to go there with that. Veronica, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, well, I mean, I agree with Melissa that the experience as an actor is different. I mean, there's technical challenges and you're not together, so that feels different. But as an audience member, I've seen several Zoom plays in the last, 2.5 years. And I have to say, I do experience watching it almost as theater. Yeah, it's definitely different from watching TV or watching a movie for me. Because it's written as theater, and it's obviously written differently than TV and film. And I can experience it with the same, I get engrossed in the same way I would in a play.
Yeah.
So you're just at home, which is just a different.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do think it can be theater, yes.
And the other element, at least for us, is live. I mean, we could have all met earlier today. I could have recorded this, and then we could have just streamed a recording tonight. But the fact that we're doing this live, the fact that when you say we're going live now, there's still got to be. I know for me there is this element of the same kind of nervousness, anxiousness, whatever, of when you are about to walk out on stage. So the only difference is you're in your home, or you're not in the place. You're in it, but you're still going live. So I find it fascinating. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I want to talk more about all this in the next segment, but I want to give you guys a little bit of a break because it's 8:20. So I'm just going to say thank you for such a wonderful show. David, really beautifully written. Ed, so wonderfully directed. And you two, yeah, you could absolutely be sisters. You just did such a beautiful job. Very beautiful, very touching. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight, sharing your Friday evening with us. I hope that you will, if you haven't seen any of the work that we had done earlier this week, please go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and you'll be able to see all of the other plays we did. If you go to our website, tbtb.org, you can see all of the other virtual intensives. We have everything there, so you can get links to all of the plays that we've done. All something like 75 or 80, something like that. It's amazing how many plays we've done. So thank you. The only other thing I would ask you to do is please, if you liked what you saw, tell your family, tell your friends. TBTB's been around for 43 years, and we still remain one of New York's best kept secrets. We started as Theater by the Blind in 1979, an organization dedicated to advancing and celebrating the work of blind and low vision artists. In 2008, we expanded our mission to include artists of all abilities and disabilities. And for years, we were the only game in town when it came to be like the only off-Broadway company that actively worked with and celebrated the work of performers with disabilities, writers with disabilities, actors with disabilities, directors, designers, etc., the whole bit. And it's wonderful that we're starting to see a lot of the more artists with disabilities than ever before, but we're still not there yet. And I don't want to be the one to say we were the first, but we were absolutely one of the earlier ones. So we hope that you'll continue, and we want to broaden our circle. So go to our website, see what we're up to. Click the donate button at the top of the page, please. During this time of year, we would absolutely love, welcome, and appreciate any support you give us. That just only strengthens the partnership that you would have with us. And we hope that you'll continue to tune in. Tomorrow, we are doing a special version. This is going to be the live version of the live portion of our intensive. We're going to be starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. We are going to be streaming. It's going to be a longer program because now you're not just going to see one show, you're going to see 5 shows, and you're going to be seeing them as they are performed live and in person at the studio space that we're going to be performing them at. So we hope that you will join us for tomorrow night's stream. If you are if in town and you want to come and see it live, go to our website and you can find out how to get free tickets to see the show tomorrow night. So that's it. I hope that you'll join us on behalf of the entire company of tonight's show, all of our artists. I want to thank you again and again for sharing your time with us. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, or maybe in about 10 minutes on Facebook. Hopefully you'll join us then. All right. Thanks so much, all. Have a good night. Bye-bye.